name is Mary Costello. I am the resource worker with Mayo Public Participation Network. And I just want to tell you a little bit about the Public Participation Network, or the PPN as you may know it. We're an independent umbrella organisation and network made up of community groups: social inclusion, environmental and community and voluntary. We have almost 1,000 members in Mayo Ppn, and we are the PPN about bringing the voice of communities into Mayo County Council decision-making bodies. We have played a huge part in coordinating the interactive map with Mayo County Council, and this is the community response map for COVID-19. So if you live in an area, we'll say in Belmullet or Ballina or Ballyhaunis, and you're wondering, well, what service is available to me? If I need a hot meal today, or I need somebody to pick up my prescription or do my grocery, how will I contact that group? So this map is available to everybody to view in County Mayo, and if you just go into www.mayoppn.ie or mayo.ie, you will be able to click on the area on your map, and you will see a list of the services that's available in your area. And as part of the response to the COVID-19, we have set up in Mayo House the COVID emergency helpline number. This line is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the evening. Again, this is in conjunction with the interactive map and all the services that are available in Mayo to meet the needs of the communities and the most vulnerable people.
The branch in Clemars was set up in 1975, and our main purpose was to give lectures to the general public and to attend football matches, all sports fixtures, and provide first aid there. But since COVID-19 has come, our whole practice has changed. So when COVID-19 came in, we were contacted by head office, could we get involved with the public? So the Mayo County Council and head office just said, could we provide food and different aids to the people of the locality. Now, as we're the only branch in Mayo, we are actually supplying food and aid to all the people in Mayo. Now, every day we actually get food picked up from, well, the members of the branch pick up food from the different shops in our locality. And we also are involved in Food Cloud. And Food Cloud means that we're getting fresh and frozen product every week. Then each day our members come in and they do about 4 hours duty here each day of the week. But on Fridays and Saturdays we do up parcels, and we supply up to 60 people at the moment. We're covering a big area in Mayo.
Way is an independent living accommodation with 20 houses based around a daycare centre. We were established in 2001 by a local community group of 8 people, of which I was a founding member. Today we have 20 houses full with people aged 60 plus. We have a daycare centre which is very active, and we run an awful lot of activities. Namely, we do dinners every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, where we have a dining room where our tenants can come in and eat, or people can take dinners out to come home. We also do a delivery service. We have different activities on different days, depending on the day of the week or the humour that you're in. Of course, since COVID came in, all of those things have changed and life has been totally different. The activities, of course, have all stopped, and a lot of our community that would come in from outside to here have lost that connection. So we've tried where we can to keep it going as best as possible. So we have a book exchange, and we have ladies that are living, we'll say 7-8 miles out of here. So I've been putting little book parcels together and send them out every 10 days to them. Someone delivers the books back to them. They send back the books they've read, and we've set up a little exchange like that. The ladies who exercise, I've been sending them out little exercise sheets, so keeping them active at home. We had some exercise pedal what we use here for Exercise Club. So I've lent them to some of the ladies so they can keep their exercise up at home. I sent postcards to every resident in the estate, wrote a personal message relevant to them. And people say, why did you do that? Because if you're a bachelor, living on your own, have no family, the only mail that comes in your door might be a bill. So it's just nice to get a card or something that's thoughtful that says, here we are, we're here for you, we're thinking of you, and that's why we do it.
We have an excellent working relationship and great ties with Mayo County Council in the PPN. So they came to us and we were able to work with them and supply them with our database of information around all those voluntary groups that are working in community. So Mayo was able to get really ahead of the curve in its response to COVID-19 because we had the contact details of all these community groups, and because they work with us so closely, we were able to fold them in then to Mayo County Council's COVID-19 response. And this has been extremely successful. Without the volunteers in communities all across Mayo, people would have been left behind. People wouldn't have been able to get meals delivered to their houses, prescriptions, and they wouldn't have been able to get the help and support that they needed, not only from volunteers, but from local volunteers who knew the situation on the ground, who knew people, who knew instinctively that that particular house needed more help than the house down the road. And it's that Mehel spirit that there is in Mayo. It's that people coming together. In communities across Mayo, you see it from tidy towns to all of the groups, the Meals on Wheels, the church groups, the parish groups. They come together in Mayo.
I'm a driver with the local Order of Malta unit here in Lewisburg. Typically the types of patients we deal with are either emergency cases which need an immediate transportation to Castlebar or sometimes down to Galway, and we also handle a number of patient transfers. We are a 24/7, 365-day call-out unit, and quite often we're called out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, so we're not a 9-to-5 job by any stretch of the imagination. I've been with the Order of Malta now for about 5 years and I thoroughly enjoy every minute of it. Since COVID-19, however, we've had to make certain adaptations, and I also run the local Meals on Wheels here in Lewisburg. And what we've done, again, to support the local and assist the local community, is joined up with the Order of Malta in terms of delivering essential supplies to those vulnerable members of our society who are unable to leave their house due to cocooning. So such supplies could be groceries, medications. We also take people to the GP. I had one yesterday, for instance. We have a very active unit here in Lewisburg, and age ranges from 18 up to sort of my age, which is a little bit more than 18. But we work well together as a team, and no matter what time of day we're called out, we will always be there to help anybody who's in need.
I'm the coordinator for Big Brother Big Sister. It's a Froga programme operating in Mayo, and what it is basically is we match adult volunteers in the community with young people in the community, and they become a support, and I suppose they share their interests and hobbies with young people, getting them out doing things. So typically, like, a volunteer would meet up, have a game of football, or go for a walk, or go shopping. There in March, obviously COVID-19 came to the fore, and we had to look at how Big Brother Big Sister operated. Initially it was a challenge, but it meant that volunteers and young people couldn't actually meet physically. So what we did, we started to look at ways they can connect, using online contact, through video calls and phone calls and that kind of stuff. And we tried to, ongoing, we have lots of different activities. We have quizzes going, and I suppose one of the ideas we had was to get young people out into their back gardens, literally, get them gardening, get the volunteers gardening. I suppose they have a little bit more time than maybe they would normally, you know. And it's been a real success. You know, it's something a little bit different that maybe a young person and a volunteer in many cases wouldn't normally do.
COVID, I suppose, like everybody, it was a sudden, you know, things change. So the first couple of weeks were challenging because we would have had a lot of stuff planned that you had to cancel because you couldn't do it, and looking at, right, how do we do what we want to do with the current restrictions? Now, we were very fortunate because Froiga in Park West, which is our Dublin base, had a lot of programmes that they manualised really quickly to do online. So an example again would have been our leadership programme. We had planned to do that in person with the young people over Easter. It was going to be a residential in Achill, and we were going to have the young people away. We couldn't do that. But thankfully another good Mayo man, Brian Gavin, manualised the programme so we could do it online. So we did it via Zoom. So the first 3 weeks were challenging, trying to embrace it and look how we were going to. And there was an element of how long will this last? You know, we didn't know, everyone thought it might be over quickly. But as time has gone on, we've really embraced it and looked at technology, looked at Zoom. Everyone knows Zoom. We've used that a lot to bring young people together. If you work in youth work, you work with people. That's why you're in it. You like people, you like being around people, you like engaging with people. And that's a challenge because with all the technology in the world, it's not the same as sitting down to someone, plugging in the kettle and saying, how are you?
Well, typically what we had before the COVID was the design and make costumes, which we do here all the time for plays, musicals, theatres, festivals, all that type of thing. That's what we would have done. Alterations to the general public. Typically a lot of older people would have been our clientele for the alterations. And we run adult and kids craft camps. Friday the 13th was the dreaded day for everybody in March, where we were all told basically that we had to leave work, that we couldn't all work together here. Now first we started off for the first week, we started working remotely. We had machines here. The girls all brought a machine home and they started working remotely. Wouldn't have been practical for long term, but I mean, it was the solution there and then because it happened so fast. And we were thinking, well, we can't be making costumes at home and there's a desperate need for PPE. So we decided we'd set up, with the help of Mayo North East, we decided we'd set up a GoFundMe page and try and get money to be able to buy material. But in the meantime, we started using what material we had here ourselves and we started making scrubs and masks. Now the phone calls were coming, it was to the stage that you'd nearly be afraid to answer the phone because there was people desperate on the other end of the phone looking for. I don't think people will ever realise how bad things were in the desperation looking for PPE. Masks, scrubs, anything at all that you could get. We initially thought, you know, we'd just start off nice and easy and we'd make our first one was going to be the Meals on Wheels and all of them, and we were going to supply them with aprons and masks, and we thought that'd be, if we give, we'd say the community, the little community groups and the other CSPs that do meals and things like that, we'd cater for all of them in Mayo, and that's what we started doing through Mayo North East. But then the madness began. And it was scrubs we turned over to and the masks. And I mean, up to now, we would have made over 300 scrubs and thousands of masks. But that was what we put a call out to Midwest Radio for help because, I mean, we couldn't possibly keep up with the demand. So we got nearly 50 stores all over the county, from Westport to Ballinrobe to Ballantyne, all over the place. And they have been the most amazing people. I know them all, but I've never met them. I've spoke to them all on the phone. I know all about them, but I've never. And I please God, when this is over, we do plan a day down the Jackie Clark that we will get to meet them all and personally thank them. Because it's not the same thanking them over the phone. I mean, these went out to the hospitals and to the nursing homes and all of those places free of charge. We didn't get anything for them. The GoFundMe page is what supported it and done it. But into the future, because we're not going to have a business as in hire and thing, our normal business post, we should say COVID, so we are going to make masks and scrubs and hopefully there will be people that's willing to buy them.